Lovely to see everyone today. If you're just signing in, we've all been getting ready for the class by checking our systems, getting ready with our yoga mats in our area, and we'll be starting in about 30 seconds if you'd like to take yourself onto the floor. All right, beginning now. Anything that we were distracted with, we'll set aside. Taking ourselves all the way down onto our mats to begin our practice with our supine relaxation, warming ourselves up properly for our yoga class today. When you're ready, taking yourself all the way down to the floor, if you're not already there. Finding a comfortable resting position. I'm opting for Shavasana. Shavasana with our arms extended, our legs extended and opened, noticing anything that we may be feeling in around the pelvis, the lower backs, up through the shoulders into the necks. Go ahead and really establish that long neutral line. We notice the right and left sides of our body are fairly equal. Perhaps one leg feels like it's longer than the other. And now we're becoming aware of this, making any adjustments we can. However, we're not fixated on trying to correct any of this just yet. Let's be aware of it. As we enjoy laying down, closing our eyes if they're not already there. Give ourselves permission to just relax, to let go. And we'll really focus now on our breathing. A steady inhale, followed by a steady exhale. Nothing too forced. Instead, finding what's natural to us right now. Aware of our surroundings, of any noises we hear. Perhaps staying focused on the music, drowning out any other white noises. Feeling the rise of our chest with each breath. And feeling the body relax with each breath out. Noticing if it's easy for us to come into this state of relaxation and focus. Finding a mindful practice, or perhaps today is a struggle, which is all the more reason for signing in today and taking this 40 minutes out of our day to really give our body, our mind, and our heart what it needs. And now that we've taken a moment of self-awareness, we've checked in, let's reach our arms long up over our head. Oh, big expansion here. Perhaps we feel a fantastic stretch through the shoulders, a phenomenal extension through the vertebrae. Really becoming aware of what we're feeling, not being fixated on any labels, but identifying, starting to explore. And we can release those arms, gather our knees into our chest, give ourselves a glorious hug. I love beginning our yoga practice with a hug. Knees to chest, squeezing out any tension from our hips, kneading out any knots from our lower back. Now, as we hold on to those knees, go ahead and roll our ankles. Lots of cricks and cracks, especially if we've been wearing our winter boots outside lately. Great weather to do so. Getting outside, improving our mental health with some fresh air, some sunlight, some nature. And if we've been stuck inside, choosing to hibernate, which is also very nice. Hibernating, perhaps we haven't moved through the feet or ankles very much in the last little while. Let's articulate those toes and get some blood flowing. Keeping a hold of our knees, the feet are down still. We'll hold on to our right shin as we lower the left leg down to the floor and draw that right knee open towards our right shoulder. Now, if you've done my classes before, you know that I really like to focus on exploring the body before we start getting into the bigger poses. In exercise terms, this would be considered our warm-up. So not thinking of this stretch as being too intense or too grand. Rather, we're using this stretch as an opportunity to investigate, drawing the knee over towards our left shoulder now. We become more aware of any tension through the inside and outside of our hips, paying attention to where the sensation localizes or where it concentrates. We'll draw the knee in through the middle and lower that leg down to the ground. Drawing the left knee in when we're ready, take our time, and we can open the knee out towards the left shoulder. Firmly pressing that right leg into the ground, we become aware of anything we feel across our hips, through the legs. Also noticing if we've created tension in our neck and shoulders, or even through the features in our face. Let's try to calm the face, relax the shoulders. And if we'd like to, join me in drawing the knee across towards the right shoulder. Feeling any sort of stretch through that left hip. And we'll gently release that leg down to the ground. I know I feel a lot through the hips right now. Noticing what you're feeling. As we draw the feet in, knees are bent. We place the feet and the knees hips width distance apart. Arms are down on the ground on either side of our hips as we prepare for our glute bridges. Inhale, lifting the hips up, squeezing the glutes as we do so. Exhale, slowly we roll down. Again, we'll inhale, lift our hips up, resting on the shoulders, necks are comfortable. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lifting our hips up. And exhale, slowly lowering down. Continuing to keep that abdominal contraction, we'll take our hands to the side of our head. Slight tuck of the chin as we engage abdominal muscles, lifting head and shoulders up. And then slowly release down. We'll do a few crunches. Inhale, lifting the hip. Exhale, lower. Making sure we're not pulling on the head at all. Inhale, lift, but instead engaging through those tummy muscles to lift the shoulders off the ground. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, important to activate the core, helping our balance. Inhale, lift up. Any back pain from sitting down so much? Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up last time. Exhale, release. Relax our arms, take our time releasing our legs to one side as we push ourselves up and over. We'll find our tabletop position. With our hands coming directly beneath our shoulders, our knees are placed right underneath our hips. We build a really strong foundation. Spend an extra little bit of time during our warm-up with our spatial awareness, understanding how our body's operating. Finding spinal balance, we extend our right arm directly in front, shoulder height, and then bring our left leg back, creating that strong straight line, lowering down. Inhale, left arm, right leg back. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale, one more each side. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale. Holding table, taking cows and cats. We inhale, open the chest, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back, up into cat. Inhale, open the chest, look forward. Feels great, stretching open. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back. Let the head fall. One more of each as we inhale, open. And exhale, round. Pressing back in through child's pose. As we sit into child's, we notice how much pressure we're able to sit back through the hips as we bend those knees and stretch out through the arms. Taking a couple of breaths here, noticing we want the feet flat, especially if we've been in boots with them in the flex position. Now they're lengthened. We're trying to stretch out through the tops of the feet and the shins. And if we're able to reach those arms forward, we'll get an extra bit of shoulder stretch here. Preparing for our modified flow series, we inhale forward through to a kneeling plank. Exhale, slow lower down only as far as we can control. As we inhale, we press straight up into that kneeling plank position, and exhale, push back into child's pose. We'll do that again. Inhaling forward. Exhale, we try to bring our elbows backwards, brushing against the ribs. Inhale, pressing straight up. Exhale, push back into child's. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, push back into child's pose. Now taking our time, we'll slowly walk our hands and feet together, working our way up to standing. As we come halfway up, we'll bring our hands to our shins or our thighs, correcting for posture as we draw those shoulder blades together, pull our belly buttons in nice and tight. We may be feeling a stretch up the backs of the legs and through the hamstrings. Allow the knees to bend as much as they're needing to bend right at this moment. Focusing on long posture, including our neck, holding this monkey pose. Now from monkey, we'll transfer the weight into our heels, establishing chair. Reaching forward, arms are high. If ever the shoulders are not happy with this position, we draw them in through heart center. Sitting back through the hips, weight transfers through the heels, activating those thigh muscles. We take our next big inhale, sweep the arms up nice and high, and exhale, release. Very nice. Now that we're standing and slightly more warmed up, we're going to get ready for our sun salutation series. Our sun salutation series is basically a choreographed dance, and we're going to do it one move per breath. However, if you'd like to stop and hold any pose, please feel free to do so instead. We'll go through it just 2 times. Starting in mountain, feet are hips width distance apart, noticing all 4 corners of our feet on the ground. Roll the shoulders down with our palms forward. We take a big inhale, lift all the way up above our head. Now exhale, swan dive, hinging from our hips, down into forward fold. On our inhale, we lift halfway up to monkey. Exhale, release down through forward fold, bending the knees, stepping back into plank pose. Press back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. Knees can come down as we exhale, chaturanga, that slow, controlled lower. Inhale, pressing up for cobra, whether it's baby or full. And exhale, press back into down dog, or if you'd prefer, you can always take child's pose. Inhale, we walk or step our feet up between our hands, coming up halfway to monkey with that exhale. Softening our knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, lift tall, and exhale, sweep, sitting through to chair pose. That's 1 time through, we'll do it 1 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, swan dive, hinging from our hips. Inhale, halfway up to monkey. Exhale, release through forward fold. Bending the knees, step back into plank. Pressing back in through down dog or child's. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up for cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog or child's. Inhale, step or walk up between the hands, coming halfway to monkey. Bending those knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, lift tall, and exhale, sweep through chair. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, release. Very nice, everyone. Standing really nice and tall now, I just want us to roll those shoulders down, establishing Tadasana. Feel free to close our eyes, internalizing the practice as we find those 2 feet. After our sun salve, we may feel like our heart has increased its pulse slightly. Maybe our breathing is coming quicker. Let's just take a moment to slow that down. Preparing for lateral extension. We'll inhale, lift both hands tall up above our head to prayer. And now on our exhale, release that left arm down by our side as we continue to reach the right arm up nice and high. Sometimes it helps to press the right foot down a little bit further, really opening up that right side of our body. From this lateral extension, inhale, left arm high. Exhale, the right arm down. Now reach that left arm up even higher, perhaps pushing that left side away. It was amazing opening up that left side of our body. Inhale, right arm to join. And on the exhale, we release both arms down. I'm going to turn around. Interlacing our fingers, we can point the 2 pointer fingers down as we roll those shoulders together. Feel free to stay exactly like this. Otherwise, I'll ask that we soften our knees slightly and start to open the neck, open the chest. And we can even lift those arms off the body, holding our chest expansion stretch. Now with this stretch, I want us to relax through the shoulders, open through heart centers. Couple more breaths. Last big inhale. Exhale, release. Finding ourselves to the top of our mat if we moved at all during that sequence. We're going to find Warrior One. We do this by stepping our left foot back behind us, bending forward into that right knee, trying to keep both hips and both shoulders facing in the same direction as the right knee. And as we reach front, we lift both arms high. A reminder that if we'd prefer, heart center is a really nice place to be. As we come into Warrior One, I want us to feel very grounded through both feet. Heels and toes are all on the ground. We zip up through the midline, keeping those shoulders pulling back behind us, feeling quite strong. And now if we're able to, while we hold Warrior One, we try to close our eyes. Warrior One is very peaceful, feeling supported across a fairly wide stance with both feet firmly pressing into the ground. The right knee is bent, the left leg is straight. We feel tall through the crown of our head. Now from our Warrior One, we're opening up through Warrior Two. We turn to the long edge of our mat, keeping that right knee bending forward as we push into the right knee, really opening up the arms along that long line on the floor. Trying to keep our shoulders and hips pressing back, that right knee opening up, all so that we can prepare for a reverse warrior. We bring that right hand high to the sky. As we reach that right arm high, we feel a wonderful stretch through the side, as if we're trying to separate the ribs from the hip. Really give that space a little bit of a pull. Noticing this top right arm, that shoulder wants to stay down. Now from reverse warrior, we inhale through Warrior Two. Exhale, spiral down to the floor, finding that waterfall, sweeping back into plank. From our plank position, feel free to go back into child's pose or down dog, or you can join me in our side plank. We're going to open our right arm high to the sky, turning the body to face the side. Feel free to take that left knee down to the floor, otherwise we can keep both feet on the ground. little strengthening during our transition between sides of our warrior series. Now from this side plank, we inhale, exhale, come through the middle. Again, the knees can come on the floor if we'd prefer. We inhale, lift the left arm up now. Finding that spatial awareness, understanding our limbs through space, having control, having authority over our body, understanding how we're functioning, and making any adjustments or modifications to the pose to really be successful. We take that final inhale, exhale through the middle. Now take our time pressing back through down dog or child's. Also understanding that at any point in our practice, if I'm doing a posture or I'm doing a phase of work that you would much rather rest and relax, please take ownership of your practice and do so. Definitely keeping strong and keeping true to our intention for the practice. If it is to relax and unwind, taking child's or shavasana whenever we want to. From here, we're going to walk our hands and feet together, finding our monkey pose, half lift. Pull those shoulders together. Take a moment as we recalibrate, allowing the head and the heart to find some balance with the blood flow. We'll soften our knees, inhale, sweep our arms up nice and high, and exhale, release. Take our time stepping to the very top of our mat again, preparing for that warrior series now with the left foot at the top of the mat. The right leg can come all the way back behind us. Hips and shoulders stay true to the short edge of our mat, to the front of our workout space. Whenever we're ready, we lift those arms up nice and high. Pull the shoulders down, find the position that's comfortable for us. As we zip up tall through the midsection, open our heart, wear that crown on top of our head proudly. And as I mentioned already in Warrior One, we feel grounded. We feel stable. We feel strong. We acknowledge any fidgets, any imbalances. We make the adjustments that we need to in order to focus on that breath in and out through the nose. On our next inhale, we open our eyes, and exhale, open up to Warrior Two. Now, your feet are on the same line. You want your heels running with the arms stacked on top. We bend into that left knee. Eyes can stay forward, or they can turn over that front left hand. Really open across hips and shoulders. Rather than just being soft through the arms, let's make it intentional, energetic. Same with the feet. Really lengthen the toes, opening up through the hips. Finding reverse warrior, we take that left hand, reach it high to the sky. Not the shoulder, shoulder stays down, away from the ear. The arm is high, just like lateral extension at the beginning of our standing work, opening up that side. We're bending into the left knee, opening the hip as we lengthen our side body. Almost there, everyone. On our next inhale, we open up to Warrior Two again. Exhale, waterfall as we spiral. Controlled lower through lunge, stepping back into plank. Choosing to stay here with me in plank, which will hold, otherwise going back into your resting posture. Now, if you're holding plank, we can do so on our tippy toes, or if you'd prefer, you can take the knees to the ground. Let's make sure we're pushing down in through our 10 fingers, pressing those shoulders up to the ceiling, pulling our belly buttons in nice and tight. Leg muscles are strong. We have one more big inhale at the top. Now chaturanga, that slow exhale, lower all the way down. Scooping up for cobra. Long necks as we lengthen away from our shoulders, lifting up off of the hips. We can press back into child's pose or down dog, whichever stretch your body is asking for. Let's make sure we're listening. And if we're in down dog, we'll press away from our hands, pull up through the tailbone, looking back at our feet. Our feet are roughly hips-width distance apart. Trying to touch the heels as close to the floor as they possibly go today. Slowly walking our hands and feet together. We'll come halfway up to monkey. Again, we just spend that extra couple of moments in this half lift position, ensuring the blood is flowing at a nice pace. It's not going to plummet from our head. Softening those knees, big inhale, sweep up nice and tall. And exhale, release. And we'll take a few moments standing tall on 2 feet into Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel free to close the eyes. Notice our breathing. Let's check in. Preparing for our balance. Today we're going to be doing the traditional tree. So as we open our eyes, fluttering those lashes, understanding if our balance is off at all today, use a wall or use a ledge, something that you can have just a little bit of assistance with so we don't get frustrated. We're going to extend our right leg out to the side, open up through the hip as we draw the foot in. Maybe today we leave the right toe on the ground, like a kickstand. We can bring it up to the calf or all the way above the knee to the inner thigh. Rolling those shoulders down as we open across the hips. Feel free to take the arms from low-hanging branches up through cactus, high, or through heart center. Whichever arms are going to help us today, always holding them with purpose, with intention. Our heart is open, our crown is held proudly. We're lifting out of that left foot, noticing all the fidgeting. One more big inhale. Exhale, come through the middle and release down. I encourage a little march, a little fidget in between sides, making sure the blood is flowing, the foot cramps stay away. Zipping up. Let's find the tree with the left foot coming out to the side. Open through the hip as we draw the toe in, whether it's kickstand, calf, or inner thigh. Opening up through the knee and find the arms in a position that aids our balance. In yoga, we never have any expectation of what a pose should look or feel like. We leave the expectation as well as our ego at the door, and when we step onto our mat, we're free of judgment and instead open to possibility, perceptive. One more big inhale. Exhale through the middle and release. Fidgeting those feet and take our time as we prepare to make our way down to the mat. We'll take that big inhale, reaching up, and exhale, swan dive into forward fold, hinging at the hips, relaxing over those legs. Ooh, all of the sensation that we may be feeling up through that posterior chain, whether it's in the legs, the hips, the back, the shoulders, the neck. We can have the hands resting on the ground, the legs, or holding either elbow in ragdoll. Staying here for just a couple of more breaths. And then softening our knees, taking our time as we come down into table. Now from tabletop position, we'll make sure that the hands are right underneath the shoulders again. The feet are flat with the knees placed about hips-width distance apart. Finding our thread the needle shoulder stretch. We inhale, lift that right arm all the way up high to the sky. Exhale, thread underneath the left arm as we lay into the right ear, the right shoulder, wherever it happens to be that we're touching the ground and connecting with. Make sure we're comfortable, noticing a stretch, acknowledge the amount of sensation, accept if we're okay with that, and we can move that left hand above the head, if that feels good. And slowly we'll work our way up through tabletop again. Finding that neutral position. As we inhale, we open up the left arm now. And exhale, thread all the way underneath, laying into that left ear. And just as we did on the right side, we take a moment, making sure that we're happy with the position, and we can reach that right arm overhead. Noticing any stretch happening through the shoulder blades, the arms, the upper back. And we'll bring ourselves up through tabletop again. Now this time through tabletop, let's reach our arms forward, finding modified dog, or also known as puppy dog. Hands are farther forward of our shoulders. We stick our tailbone up high to the sky, just like we did in down dog, and we let our chest come down to the floor. Whether we touch with our forehead or with our chin, we're trying to scoop out the back, exaggerate the extension. What a fantastic stretch for the shoulders and through the back. On our next exhale, we slowly find our way coming back up through tabletop, and then just press back in through child's pose. And perhaps this time we take a more restorative posture, bringing the hands underneath the forehead. Really getting low, finding our hips coming down as low as they can, comfortably speaking. Just take a moment here, a couple of deep breaths. Okay. From child's pose, we'll start to come all the way up and find our way in through butterfly. Now in butterfly, we want the soles of our feet to touch. So as you get yourself up into a seated position, notice that if your knees are bothering you at all in butterfly, perhaps there's just too much flexion. You can move your feet farther away, out from your body. Otherwise, we bring them in nice and close, holding onto your elbows, sitting up with so much posture, such great attention to posture. And then we start to hinge forward. We can leave the elbows tucked in, or we can use the elbows as a little bit of a prop to help open through those hips. Keeping our backs really nice and straight. The extra layer we can add on is a slight chin tuck, rounding through that C-spine, up through the neck. Slow our breathing. And slowly rounding up, helping those knees in together, preparing for a seated spinal twist. We extend the left leg forward. That right foot can stay on the inside of the left knee, or it can come to the outside, whichever is more comfortable. Now we notice that we're sitting tall on both sits bones here, trying to keep that kneecap pointing straight to the ceiling. With the left arm, we can hug or wrap that knee. As we look over the right shoulder, we just set that right hand behind us ever so gently. Now I find that I like to hug the knee to help me open up across the collar. Others may find that you like to take the elbow with the hand up. The only problem is if this shoulder then starts to tilt in or tip forward. We want to avoid putting our shoulder into this slouched position, which is why I hug instead. Now as we hold the twist, we want to just rotate ever so slightly more and gently release through the middle. We can take the left knee up now, whether the foot's on the inside or outside of the leg. Foot is flat, the knee is pointing up. We sit so tall as we start to hug or prop the elbow against that knee, keeping the shoulders pulling back, the collars open, and then we'll look over that left shoulder. Noticing what we're feeling. Take our time as we explore. Some people like to inhale, lift, exhale, twist, perhaps applying that. One more inhale, and exhale, release. Very nice. Taking both legs. From here, what I'll ask us to do is gently lower ourselves all the way down onto our mats. If you'd like any sort of adjustment, if you had a sweater on that you'd like to put back on, or if you've got socks that you'd like to layer, a blanket nearby, we come down for our final couple of stretches. The first one will be our supine figure 4, stretching the outside of our hips. We take our feet flat onto the ground. Make sure we're happy laying on our shoulders and our back as we cross that right ankle over the knee. We can press the knee open with the right hand. We could simply lay here if this feels phenomenal, or we can thread hands underneath that left leg, picking the left leg up. We want the right knee to really try to open away from the face. Sometimes we can apply a little bit of pressure using that right elbow. Just try not to do so at the expense of creating tension through the shoulders. So we'll keep those shoulders resting down. The head can be flat on the floor with the nose pointing straight to the sky. Focusing on the stretch through the right hip. Starting to breathe a little bit slower. You can release both legs down and cross the left ankle over when ready. Feel free to press the knee open. We can even relax the arms down or thread the hands under and around that right thigh. Maybe even using the left elbow to push the knee away. Notice our neck. Soften the shoulders. Releasing both feet down. And gather the knees into the chest, hugging the shins or underneath the legs on the thighs for one final big hug. If it feels good, we can rock side to side, noticing if there's anything else lingering that we wanted to stretch. Maybe checking in and now becoming more aware of where we need to focus our attention or our energy and our posture while we sit at our desk this week. As we continue to hold those knees to chest, we start to release our breath, relax our legs, and we can take our knees either together in a restorative posture, or we can release the legs completely down to the floor as we establish savasana. Opening at the hip, relaxing at the shoulders, palms are up to the ceiling. Releasing the abdomen next, letting go of that tension or the notion that we need to hold on and be in control. Instead, let that stomach rise up to the ceiling with each inhale. And on the exhale, any lingering tension just melts away. In our final relaxation, we focus on our breath. We enjoy knowing that there's nowhere to be, nothing to do, except for relax. Clearing our mind, slowing down that nervous system. If we find our thinking is starting to become a little chaotic again or is distracting us, you can choose to listen to the music, or sometimes it helps to count our breathing. Taking 4 or 5 deep, slow counts in with our inhale. And using the same 4 or 5 counts on our exhale. Let's start to wiggle our fingers and toes, gently checking back in with the body. Take our time as we roll through the wrists and ankles. And gently work our feet up onto the ground. Whether there's any last windshield wiper or hug that we need to take, we can start to work our way over, finding a seated position where we'll sit comfortably in our final couple of breaths, taking our neck stretch to finish our practice together today. Feel free to keep our eyes closed, taking our time. And when you're ready to join me, we'll find the next stretch starting with the right ear coming towards that right shoulder. And if it helps, we can press that left arm away, playing with the splaying of our fingers, the flexion of the wrist. And if that arm was extended, we can now bring it in, release the head, taking the left ear over. Then we can press that right arm away. Noticing that if we can extend the wrist open, we may feel even more coming up through the right shoulder. Coming in through the middle, couple shoulder rolls, releasing any other tension that maybe we're holding on to. And if nothing else, becoming more aware of the need to take a few slow breaths during the day, or to pay attention to that upper back and shoulder and chest area when we're sitting at our desks for the remainder of the afternoon. As we prepare to say our final goodbye, I'd like to acknowledge your time and thank you for taking the time out of your day to practice with me. We'll inhale, lift our arms all the way up above our head to prayer. Exhale, coming down through heart center. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.